Hey everyone, it's Hazel West, indie author and book blogger. I'm back with my this is the July reading wrap up of 2016. This month I didn't get to quite as many books as I had hoped. It ended up being a really busy month with everything, and but I did end up reading 7 novels, and I got to a few short stories. So I'll go through that. The first book I read was actually a reread. I picked up The Archived by Victoria Schwab again. This is the first book in The Archived. At the moment, it's a duology, but I think she has at least one more book planned. Um, but yeah, I for some reason I just really needed some Wesley Ayres in my life because he's one of my favorite young adult um, male characters ever. Um, so yeah, I just wanted something that I knew I would enjoy to start the month off. So I picked up a reread, and I love this book so much. This is like probably one of the few books like that I've read in recent years that really speaks to me for some reason, just on a personal level. Um, I always love it. I think this one gets either like 4 out of 5 stars or 4.5 out of 5. Um, but yeah, definitely one of my favorites. I have reviews for it on Goodreads, so if you really want to read my review, you can do that. After that, I I got a couple. I read a couple review copies that authors sent me this month, and the first one I read was Lost in Wonderland by Nikki Peacock. I had to read it on my iPad, so this is kind of weird, but anyway, this is a horror slash mystery slash supernatural. It's really, and it's not. I like it has definite it definitely harks to Alice in Wonderland, but it's not necessarily a retelling. And because of that, I thought I really enjoyed it a lot more. Um, so essentially, what it is Wonderland is a organization that that this couple started in this book after their daughter was murdered by a serial killer. And oh dear, oh well, you saw the cover. Um, and after that, they started recruiting like young kids who essentially they trained up to be able to kill serial killers. And so that it was a really interesting premise, very dark, and I like that. But anyway, like they were all their operatives were named after like characters out of um out of Alice in Wonderland. Like the main character Kayla, her code name was Mouse. And um anyway, I really enjoyed her as a character. She got the job done. She was callous. I like that in heroines. Um so yeah. Besides that, it was really an interesting premise. It definitely um I mean, it was pretty well done. It felt in a lot of parts like an episode of Criminal Minds. But yet there was an added like horror and supernatural kind of undertone to it as well. And the creature in it, you're never. I like how it's kind of. You're not really sure whether it is actually real or if it is just a figment of Kayla's brother, who is he he's kind of mentally unstable. Whether it's just a figment of his imagination. And I always enjoy books like that. And I personally believe that that these two genres really go very well together. And I wish more people would do it. So, um, yeah. Anyway, the only critique I have on this is that it was very short, and the chapters were it came in such short bursts that I like once it set the scene, it was kind of like moving on, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean it's just kind of a format I'm not personally I'm into because to me it's like watching a movie or watching a TV show, and that's what this felt like for me. So it wasn't necessarily like not enjoyable, but at the same time, as a book, like if I'm sitting down to read a book, I kind of want more. Like I think this could have easily been like twice as long as it was, but apart from that, I really liked what was there. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. After that, I picked up White Knight by Jim Butcher. This is the 9th book in the Dresden Files series. Um, as usual, I can't help but enjoy it. Um, I think for some reason this one, it wasn't like it had definitely exciting parts, but it kind of dragged in parts too. I did like it more than the previous one, but not one of my favorites. Although there are some really hilarious parts in it. Um, and the reveal as to what Thomas's job actually is at the end, it was hilarious, and like I just loved Harry's reaction. It was so brother. They just I love how Jim Butcher writes them as brothers. It's hilarious. But anyway, yeah, I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars though, because I did really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the series takes off from here, because I don't know. There's just a lot of things that are being set up, so I'm interested to see where that goes. Okay, after that, let me see if I can find the other one that I have to read. Okay, the net book after that I read is Perennials by Bryce Gibson. This is another one that was sent to me to review, and I'm going to be doing a book tour stop with a review and author interview on my blog later this month. Once I get it set up on the blog, I'll go back and post it here, a link to it. But anyway, this one is another mystery, and this one is, the premise is that the serial killer in it kills people whose names are named after plants. Like the main character's name is Dusty Miller, and there's other ones like Rose Bush, and Marigold. Anyway, so that's the idea of this. I can't really, like, I wrote a review for this one. The problem is I can't talk a lot about it because there's a lot of spoilers. Like, I can't really say a lot about how I felt about it, because most of that is too spoilery to say. If you really want to know, you can go check out my review once I post it. But overall, it wasn't terrible. I enjoyed the story, and it definitely kept me reading. It was kind of slow in parts, but that was mainly just because of a vast amount of description. I think the author needed to just kind of reevaluate how much description went into this book. Apart from that, but I'm not sure if this is, honestly, I don't know if this is the author's first book or something. If it is, that is a very common problem that a lot of new writers come into. So I mean, I definitely understand that. But apart from that, I did enjoy the characters, and I was invested in the story. I really wanted to see what happened and where it ended. So then that's half the battle. So anyway, check out the book tour when I get it on my blog. It's going to be posted August 12th, and I always touch this thing. So go to my blog on August 12th, and you can see this and read an interview with Bryce Gibson. So, but yeah, I ended up giving this one 3 out of 5 stars, I think. Needed work, but it had good potential. So, yeah, it was still a good book.